Here we will study how to solve and graph absolute value equations. Here we have been given the question which is just so small. We have to solve each equation by graphing. And this is in the writing part of the exam. There are few things. There are 4 steps which I can divide. First step would be just basic info from the equation. Okay. Rewriting the equation, you can tell. Rewriting the given equation. That's the first step. Then next step is table of values, which we can easily get it from the calculator. Step 3 would be graph. And lastly, step 4 is solving this. We have solved this before as well. So we will just look into how to solve this as well. That's the last step. So step 1, rewriting the given equation. Whatever is given over here, x minus 4 equals 5, right? We cannot put this in the calculator and get the graph unless and until we make everything at one side. That means this 5, take it to the other side. It's going to be x minus 4 minus 5 equals 0. Now this is it. This is the first part. Rewriting the equation is equal to 0. Now you can right away rewriting the equation with one side equals to 0, but that's too many words. So just rewriting the equation, if you remember, it's enough. Or just write step 1 and do this. And another thing which will help you in the next step is whatever is inside this magnitude or modulus symbol, x minus 4, just make it equal to 0. What is the x value? Positive 4, right? This is important. You don't need to write it. This is just for your understanding for the next step. Okay, this is just for you. Step 2 would be table of values. Table of values. Now this is the table we make. Sorry, it's a very bad table, but anyways, this is x and this is y. Now what is the x value? You can't just take minus 5 to 5 or anything like that. You have to take, what is this value we got? 4 as the center or the mid value. Take some values less than that and greater than that. I'm going to take 4 less than that is 3 and 2. That's enough because it's a linear, you know, this absolute value are linear functions. You don't need any variations. And over here we have 5, 6. What about this? We don't need to solve it manually for each of these. We'll use the calculator and get these values of y. So what we do is mod 7 gives you table. Type this equal to, see, whatever is f of x is basically 0 over here. And now what is their absolute value? How do you get that absolute value? Shift and hyp gives you absolute. You can see that abs. Now alpha x minus 4, that's already closed. Go next and put minus 5. Now where do you start at? Now this is just press equal. It's only one equation we are solving. Start at 2. Ending last point is 6. And step 1. Here we go. These are the values. We can see it's minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. And then it will repeat itself as minus 4, minus 3. It's not going to increase because, you know, this is the dipping point and then it again goes up, increases. Step 2 is done. Step 3 would be graph. Step 3, graph. Graph the equation. Graph the equation. EQN is the short form for equation. Now you will be given the grid. Now this, whatever I'm drawing is not at all to the scale, but let me just try my best. So what I'll do is I'll take this line pow because it's all negative values, right? So where do we have? Only the right side is more in picture over here. It's 2. Imagine this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not at all to the scale, but let me just give it a try. Over here is 2, and where is minus 3? Over here, so this will be the point, 1 point. 3 and minus 4, minus 4 and 3 somewhere over here. 4 and minus 5 somewhere over here. And then again we have minus 4 and, see over here, minus 4 and 5. And then 6 and minus 3. So this is how, somewhat like this, the graph will look like. We can extend these lines, which are not at all accurate, but Anyways, when you do it in a scale and a pencil, you'll get much accurate points. And if you have a grid itself, it will be much more accurate. So this is the step 3, that is graphing the equation. I hope you understand this is graphing, graph the equation. Graph the equation, given equation or the question, anything. Now then, step 4. If you extend this a lot, you will come to know where it intersects. That's the solution region, right? Now what you do is step 4, find the solution. Find the solution. Graphing is done, find the solution. You can find it from here, but most of the time our graphs will be inaccurate. So don't rely on this. So what we'll do is we have to do it in 2 steps. See, step 1, like case 1, right? Case 1, case 2. Because this is absolute value, whatever is there inside can be the plus or minus, isn't it? But instead of doing this all plus or minus, I'll just take the right side as plus or minus. It's easier. Remove the modulus, it'll be x minus 4 equals 5, and here x minus 4 equals minus 5. Let's solve them up. This goes to the other side. X is equal to 5 plus 4, x is equal to 9. One of the solution, that's over here at the right. And here it will be x is equal to minus 5 plus 4, x will be equal to minus 1. That's over here. This should be minus 1. And somewhere over there it will be 9. So these are the 2 solutions. If you write so much, you'll get the full marks. And this is a lengthy problem, so the marks also will be more for this. It might be 10, 12 marks because there are plenty of steps. So this is how you accurately do it. If you do this much for all these equations, you will definitely get a full mark for this problem. So rewriting the equation, make sure you write everything at one side and one side will be equal to 0. Step 2 would be the table of values. Now you need to find what is the point at the center in the table of values, x, midpoint. Middle of the graph will be at 4. Why? Because x minus 4 is equal to 0 and x is equal to 4. Then you get the other values. Just 2 values less than that and more than that is enough. You get the table of values and draw an approximate graph. Then solve it. Find the solution. Case 1. It'll be x minus 4 equals 5. When we remove this, it'll be either plus or minus 5. So next one will be minus 5. Solve both of them. The answers are minus 1 and 9. So here we go. They have taken a lot of values. It's just going to take too much time. And then the final solution is minus 1 and 9. You can see minus 1 and 9. So here we go. That's it. How about this problem? Same thing. I'm not going to do in detail. You need to remember this detailed steps. I'm just going to quickly run through it. So the equation is going to be 2x minus 3 minus 17 equals 0. That's step 1. The step 2 is to focus which is the point in the mid of the table of values. This is table of values, sorry. Step 2 is table of values. But what is the midpoint here? So I'll just write it somewhere here. It's 2x minus 3 equals 0. So 2x is equal to 3. X is equal to 3 by 2. That is 1.5. So here it'll be 1.5. I'm not going to take 0.5s. It's going to be complicated. So I'm just going to take 1.5. Less than that is 1, 0, 2. And here I'm going to take 3. X, Y. So let's find the table of values. Here it is mode 7. So let's write the rewritten equation, not the given equation. Shift HYP gives you absolute value. It's 2x alpha x minus 3. Then press next and write minus 17. If you write minus 17 inside, then it's wrong. You can't get the answer. So here, press equal to and then start it at 0, end it at 3. And the thing is, when you have one, I'll tell you in a minute. Let's do this first. Now the values are given. It is minus 14, minus 16, minus 15, all these. You just have to write it out over here. But we are still missing 1.5, isn't it? What you can do over here is, you can either go back again for this equation and start at say 1, end it at 2, and you can give a step of 0.5, you will get it. Or you can start at 0 and 3 with the step of 0.5, you will have 1.5 as well. But okay, if you're not able to do it, you want to keep the step 1 itself, just go out of this mode and equate this. See, shift this one, 2, into what is x value? 1.5 minus 3, and then what do we have? Minus 17. How much is the answer? It's minus 17 here. Or whatever is inside the absolute value will be equal to 0 because we're equating that to 0, right? So just make this equal to 0. What is remaining? Minus 17. That will be the answer. So there are various ways to easily find these values. You can just put this back in the equation. You'll get it as well. Now, once you have those values over here, you need to graph it. See, now they are taken over here random values, but these values are most important because at 1.5, there'll be somewhere here. You can see this is the point. Minus 17, the bottommost point. Then at 1, it is over here. 2, 3. You'll get just these points, but that's enough. Then you just extend it. You don't need to bring it. I mean, take a scale. You can bring it over here as well. Don't worry, in the exam, you'll have a reasonable scale and everything will be easily given. Once this is done, don't forget the last step. After the graphing, don't forget the last step to solve it. That'll be step 4 because step 3 will be graphing for us. And then that is case 1 and case 2. It is 2x minus 3 equals 17. 2x minus 3 equals minus 17. Just you can put in the calculator and check your answers as well, or you just solve this up. Just do a couple of steps or one step and then direct the answer. It's okay. So that will be the answers. Here the answer is negative 7 and positive 10. We can solve it up. Here it will be 2x is equal to 20, x is equal to 10, and over here x will be equal to minus 14. 2x is equal to minus 14, x is equal to minus 7. So that is the answers. Yes. Same thing here as well. But what happens here? When we bring this inside, this cancels off. So your equation is 2x plus 1 only. And what about the midpoint? It will be x is equal to minus 1 by 2. That is half, negative half. And here, say negative half, you'll get 0. Why? Because there was no other values, right? See, rewrite it like this. It'll be 0. You can use the calculator, get the table of values, and then graph it up once you get the table of values. Then don't forget you have to solve it as well. Now, what do you solve? Here, when you solve this, 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. That means you don't have to do it like this, two cases. That means you will have only one point on the x-axis. So x is equal to negative half or negative 0.5. That's the only one solution. You don't have two solutions like the previous problem. Only one, as you can see over here. So that will be the answer. It's negative half. Same thing here, but you will have some value when you bring this inside. It's going to be x minus 1 plus 6 minus 4 will be plus 2. That is equal to 0. So you have to use this equation and use it in the calculator and solve it up. So that's the equation. Be plus 2. Put it in the calculator, you get the table of values, you can graph. But look at this. There is no solution whatsoever. Why? Because if you look carefully, x minus 1 is equal to how much? When it goes to the other side, 6 to the other side will be minus 2. Or just take this 2 to the other side, it will be minus 2, right? Can you have any value that is equal to minus 2? I mean, absolute value equals negative answer. No, because it doesn't matter. It's minus 2 or plus 2. The answer will be only positive. The final answer, the right must be positive, but here it doesn't satisfy that. Therefore, we have no solution. You can easily find it in the graph as well. And you can see this is an empty set. It doesn't have any solution. The solution equation is a null. Here it is similar to the previous one. 7 and 7 cancels will be equal to 0. And you can easily solve them up. Now here, what is the midpoint? The middle value will be x is equal to 1 by thirds. Why? Because this is equal to 0. It will be x is equal to 1 thirds. Now what you can do is, now in such cases, I usually take the previous point as 1. 1 third is, sorry, 0.6. I'll take it as 0 minus 1. 1, 2. This is enough. You don't need to take all these values because as you know this will be 0. You can get all the other values in the calculator and just graph them. You'll just get these values and extend it. That's more than enough. And whenever this becomes alone, see the 7 and 7 cancels, it's equal to 0. That means the solution will be only one solution. You won't have two. So here as well, you can see it only touches one time on the x-axis. This is the solution. It's 1 thirds. The last problem, let me do the steps here quickly. Step 1 is rewriting this equation. It will be x plus 2 That will be equal to, this comes inside, will be minus 13 plus 5. Over here, it'll be minus 8. That is equal to 0. So this is the first equation. Step 2 would be the table of values. What will be the center? It will be minus 2. Why? Because x plus 2 is equal to 0. X is equal to minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Here will be minus 1, 0, and you can write 1. X, and what are the y values? Just put this in the calculator. Let me show you how you put in the calculator. You need to go to mode and 7. Type this rearranged equation. Shift H5B gives you absolute value. Alpha x plus 2 minus, go to the go next and then minus 8. Start it at say minus 4. End it at say 1 or 0. That's fine. Step of 1. These are the values. Yeah, these are the y values. You can just make those stable. Over here you can see all these are the once they have taken different scale. That's absolutely fine. You can just stick to these values. That's also absolutely fine. You'll get some values here close by and then extend those lines. Make sure you solve these equations by two cases. What I do is, first case would be x plus 2 equals, let's take this to the other side, it will be 8, and x plus 2 is equal to minus 8. Whenever you solve this, make sure you take the given equation, write absolute value alone and everything else to the other side, and then solve it up. If at all you have a negative value at the right side, then ignore it. That's wrong. Now then, it's x is equal to 8 minus 2, that is 6. But you need to do the steps. X is equal to minus 8 minus 2, that is minus 10. So these are the two answers. You can see one is 6 and one is minus 10. Here we have the answers, and that's how we can easily graph and find the solutions of the absolute value equations. That is the end of this question. I hope it is clear. If you have any doubts, please consider rewatching the video or posting your doubts in the comments. I hope you all will head on to the next video.